to Cosmos with Bailey. I'm Bailey and I am a clairvoyant psychic medium and spiritual healer based in New Zealand. And today's video is going to be on masculine peacock confidence and why we love it. So a lot of my healing work revolves also around working with the masculine and feminine and moving people out of disempowering or self-sacrificial, unenjoyable ways of expressing masculine and feminine energy. And at this point in time on the earth, we're probably feeling, especially if you're in your 30s and 40s, to want to move into more empowerment, or you're feeling you want to know your masculinity or what is masculinity, even for the younger generation. If you find this video, why do I struggle to express my masculinity in healthy ways, and why do I feel like people don't respect or love my masculinity? So at the moment on the earth, we're in a little bit of a pickle when it comes to masculine and feminine, and we're trying to figure out what healthy masculine and feminine looks like. And in the collective consciousness, we've seen a lot of this stuff come up around the toxic feminine, or the feminine that is unconscious, and the toxic masculine, which is essentially just ego, which is egoic masculine, and also with the toxic feminine that is essentially shares reign of ego and not spirit. So if you go back and watch my video, How Do We Get Butch Women on the Earth, I talk about how the ego consciousness over females creates a type of masculine persona in women, and they act a little bit like F-boys in grown up situations. It's to do with a dissociation from the feminine spirit. But I think masculinity is even a little bit even more elusive, like really healthy divine masculinity. And I know that in a lot of the spiritual communities, I think there is a lot of fantasy around what it means, what divine masculinity looks like, and he is sort of painted as the savior, and that's not what we're really wanting. We're actually wanting men in the everyday world really empowered and enjoying their own unique expression of masculinity. So I will tell you this, just from what I've seen in some of the healing work and people that I've been working with, and also for me personally, if a woman is really in her feminine, her healthy, natural, organic feminine expression, she is going to love your empowered masculinity. And there is a difference between the egoic masculinity, the ego masculine, and the loving masculine. And what I feel like is happening is we don't know what loving masculinity looks like, and a lot of men who embody loving masculinity have been very downtrodden by the egoic masculine. And so we have these really amazing men who are really loving, and but they feel like they can't truly express their masculinity because they don't want to look like they are like men in their ego. The men in their ego give masculinity a bad rap, and we are deciphering between the immature egoic masculine and the loving, empowered, spiritually aware masculine. And I really feel like there's a lot of men on the earth that hold this divine, loving masculinity, but they're just not shining it out. And at this time on the earth, we are actually going through a collapse of the egoic consciousness. And so now there's space opening up in our cosmos for the return of the loving masculine into our cosmos. So I'm going to link the collapse of the Atlantean ego, and also some videos on the return of the kings and what's happening with divine masculinity in our cosmos and the awakening of divine masculinity. And so when it comes to, and I think there's also a bad rap around peacock confidence in men, I will tell you this, that if a woman is really, really healthy in her divine femininity she is going to love your empowered confidence. And I really feel like the peacock confidence, it can come from ego, which is really a state of you caught in your teens or your inner boy. And then it can come from empowered masculinity, where it's really, really sexually attractive. And it is very attracted to healthy feminine energy. And when you decide to empower yourself spiritually with your masculinity as a man, you upgrade your expression with feminine energy and you start to resonate with healthy feminine energy in the physical realm. So, yes, stepping out of collective masculine and feminine us versus them, and not listening to what's going on in the collective consciousness with your masculinity, and choosing to step into your own innate masculine power, whatever that is, as a man, and sort of shining that, I don't know how to quite explain it, but it is a little bit like peacock energy, but it's not, there's healthy amounts of pride. There's healthy amounts of, I run this business. I'm doing really well at the moment. I'm feeling really good about it. There's a difference between the egoic show-off masculine and then the masculine that's really in his heart and is just like, yeah, I'm owning my life right now. I've got an amazing partnership. I have children. I'm really enjoying my life. And there's a sense of pride and dignity and integrity in the peacock confidence. And it shines out of your masculine essence, and we feel it and we know it. But I'm also going to say that people who are a little bit more immature in their masculine and feminine are not going to be able to see your divine masculinity in that light because they don't know what healthy masculinity looks like. We're in a bit of a pickle because, if you've grown up, I'd say in my generation, we most likely did not grow up with healthy masculine and feminine expressions in our family dynamic. And now we are in the stages of raising our own kids, and we are trying to figure out, like running our own businesses, and we're in this middle ground. We don't want to express masculinity or femininity in the way that our parents did. And we want to change, and we want to feel more empowered, and we're sort of in the middle section here in our generation. And we maybe want to be better fathers, we want to be better lovers, but we don't know how to do that because we don't have any role models. And so at the moment, we are the ones to, like, the men are the ones to bring through the new way of being divine masculine, like in the family dynamics and in business. It's quite a journey to take. So I've talked about that. Why your masculine empowerment is vital to the earth. When men are spiritually empowered in their divine masculinity, they are happy and joyous and expressing that masculine peacock energy, and it just feels so good to the soul. Because I really feel divine masculinity loves to shine his light. He loves to be seen and loved and adored. What man does not want to be seen and loved and adored for his masculinity? And like I said, there's a difference between the egoic masculine and the divine masculine and the loving masculine. And we sort of need to reroute our meaning of loving masculinity, and we are allowed to adore masculinity. We are allowed to support loving masculinity. We are allowed to see men shine in their divine power as men, and that does have a little bit of peacock energy, and it's divine. It makes the soul feel better. You feel better in the everyday world when you're expressing your light as a man and you're really shining who you are, and you're not afraid to simmer it down for someone louder, and you really own your light and your aura and your essence of masculinity, and it's very, very attractive, and it makes the soul of a man feel so much more happier when he's allowed and gives himself that permission to be the king of his, I wanted to say castle, but I mean maybe more the king of his spiritual realms within. You know what I mean? You're owning who you are. You're doing life on your terms. You're healthy. You're empowered. And there becomes this, You know, when the peacock, it just and it float, and everyone just looks at it, and it is, it is the divine peacock, but it's just the divine masculine, and we haven't seen him in so long, and he is just so joyous, and we love him. You know, when women know the divine masculine, they can, and others know the divine masculine, we can really love and adore the shimmer and the when the peacock just goes, "Cha, yes, I'm divine, and do you have a problem?" It is like, oh yes, like of course, the divine masculine. And we really need to, like, men also need to have the space to shine their divine brilliance on the earth as well. Yeah, so stepping, also you want to step out of family dynamics, and when that starts to happen with peacock energy and shining your divine masculinity for us men, and for everyone else on the earth, what happens when you really start to own your confidence and your power as a man is that you have to be content with ruffling a few feathers. And it's also like that with women when they start really shining their divine femininity. You have to be okay with ruffling feathers and letting go of friendships and dynamics that like you disempowered, because it makes them feel better. And it's quite common on the spiritual path when you really start to embody divine masculinity, your unique masculine essence, or divine femininity, is that you are going to make a lot of people feel uncomfortable. And a lot of times, a lot of people are very comfortable staying in a watered down spiritual state and do not want to really let their feathers shine, or, like, you know, when the peacock really lets it out, and we just look at the peacock and it is divine, and it is the peacock, and it just is. And that's sort of like a bit of divine masculinity. And it's, you know, it's about having self-respect, dignity, high levels of self-esteem, and expressing your masculinity, and not allowing another man to make you feel like your masculinity doesn't deserve respect, kindness, and consideration. Yes, so yeah, that was just a very basic explanation of masculine peacock energy and why I feel it's really vital for a man's spirit. And you can really see the change in men when they get given permission from someone, or they go and see someone from someone around them, and they get told, you can be divine and shine your masculinity for us. And we have an almost like an abrasion, I think, in collective consciousness here on the earth about men also being allowed to shine. And I think just in the general collective consciousness, there's a lot of wounding around the self-sacrificial man, and what happens if he wasn't self-sacrificial and he was full of divine light instead. And then, you know, it's a very different way of knowing masculinity. And also that comes from doing spiritual work. It comes from it doesn't come from books. It comes from within you. And when you're aligned with that, and with men, it sometimes takes a while on the life journey to find that inherent masculinity in you. And it's a part of the masculine journey, I would say, and just figuring that out and what that looks like and feels to you. And I was going to say, go and see a spiritual healer, but sometimes, like, men experience the spiritual pathway different to women. And men have to go out there and figure it out and do, you know, like, men have to get given the freedom to shine to find the peacock within, and then let those feathers out. I'm not quite sure how else to describe it, but it is a very divine, when we see men that are really healthy spiritually and doing their thing, and it makes the earth a better place. We have better fathers that can then can raise healthier children, and men have a sense of pride and dignity and confidence in what they're doing in life. And it just makes, if we had more men empowered in this way, you know what I mean, with boundaries, discernment, like all the great spiritual things, I would say that a lot of females would simmer down. And things balance out when we have healthier divine masculine and divine feminine on the earth. Okay, is there anything else I need to say about masculine energy and peacock confidence and why we love it? Do not let anyone tell you that you do not have the divine right as a man to enjoy your masculinity. It's very important that many women and also men have wounding around masculinity and what that looks like, maybe from father wounding or having a bad childhood with a father, or being caught in that collective blame the patriarch. And it's really important to not let those collective belief systems hinder your divine power as a man. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and I hope that was helpful.